Dynamic warm up and stretch for youth baseball players. Warming up prior to resistance training, conditioning, field practice, or gameplay is essential in preparation mentally and physically. Warming up will assist in injury prevention, in addition to increasing blood flow, enhancing metabolic reactions. A specific or dynamic warm up is geared toward mimicking movements in relation to the sport, and it elicits optimal preparation and improves performance. We're going to break it up into phase one and phase two. Phase one being slower than phase two, being our fast twitch movements. Number one, we'll start off with a knee hug to heel raise. This helps us with balance, stability, and also that initial movement when we're getting ready to sprint. For example, running the base paths. Progressing to a knee hug to lunge, working to get that power and knee drive from the ground. Step over to squat, not only working on hip mobility and rotation, hip flexion, getting a nice strong drive, again from the floor, powering up, just as if we were on the field on defense. Lateral lunge, acting as if we only have strength in one leg. This helps us in our unilateral movement as well as our lateral movement, again, in a defensive position. Backward reach, being able to hold and maintain a low position for an extended period of time. This movement also helps us work on balance and stability and single leg development. Progressing to phase two, performing an A skip, driving that knee up, hip flexion, working on that power and explosiveness up. Lateral A skip, again, working on that knee drive, hip flexion, and also going off of one leg. Example, jumping up from fielding in a squat position to extend to a line drive just above the head. Backwards A skip, working not only in a forward linear motion, but also going backwards. This helps us with body control and moving our body in different directions. Lateral shuffle, being able to maintain a low position, again, for an extended period of time, moving side to side. Lateral run, moving our body forward and glancing over our shoulder just as if we're chasing after a fly ball. Karaoke, great for hip mobility and moving in different planes and directions. Example, being unsure which direction the ball is going to come off of the bat after it's hit and reacting in a quick and efficient manner. Backpedal, remembering to keep our positioning on the balls of our feet and our hips slightly behind us so we can stay balanced and still work efficiently. Wall angels, being up against the wall, working to keep almost everything in contact, mainly our head, our upper back, our hips, and our feet. Working to take our hands from outside our shoulders, staying in contact with the wall to above. One of the main movements in baseball and softball is throwing, and therefore we must warm up our rotator cuff. Rotator cuff has 4 muscles, so we try to work on this at some different angles, that being in a throwing motion with external and internal rotation, as well as from the side of our body, working at a different angle internally and externally. Stretching and mobility. Stretching is a great means for injury prevention. Uh, Ideally, to be performed after competition or after a workout to increase range of motion, but it can be done beforehand as well. Work to hold stretches for 10 to 20 seconds. Working in some upper body stretches is important for throwing and fielding, having that flexibility in the hands and the forearms and the shoulders for improved performance. Taking our arm across our body, holding it towards our chest, getting a good stretch in the back and the shoulders. Reaching back overhead to get some flexibility in our triceps, pushing our elbow down, trying to get our hand to the center of our back. A great stretch for the chest is placing our body somewhat up against the wall with our arm behind us at 90 degrees and our outside leg in front of us for just a greater stretch across the chest. Lower body quadricep stretch, grabbing the opposite leg, pulling our heel towards our hips. Hamstring stretch, we can do this sitting or standing, just reaching towards each leg, pausing at the end, holding for a few seconds, relaxing, and then reaching again towards the middle or the opposite leg. Great stretch for the hip flexor, the groin area, and lower back is placing our legs in a 90 degree position. With our front leg, we take our hands across in front, pushing ourselves up tall. And another variation to stretch the back of the leg, our hamstring, reaching for one leg at a time. Perform mobility movements anywhere from 10 to 20 repetitions on each side. Again, with all the movement in the trunk and all the multi-directional movement patterns, it's important to be loose and limber in the lower back, in the hips, and these are great movements to perform to improve performance. Open the book, very effective movement for spine mobility. If we were to change the option and work on specific training for a college-age sprint squad, some of the things that we would improve upon would be our mechanics and going a little bit more in depth, being that it has to do with sprint mechanics. Recently, earlier this month, attending a National Strength and Conditioning Association clinic and held this time at Florida State University. One of the presenters was Coach Stephen Visick, and he gave some great effective communication and information on speed dynamics. And this is where some of the video clips are from. I can't help but grab some clips at times when I get excited and see just great coaching. Importance to go in depth on this different types of skips, the A, the B, the C skips, the bounds, the mini straight leg mini bounds, the ankle and thigh pops, the pull through, work on getting the arm mechanics, the arm swing, power, explosiveness in sync with the trunk. All helpful in being a more effective sprinter.